And as usual, I'm falling behind on the videos and pretty much all aspects of life. I feel like I'm falling behind. Some progress at least. Some oil was filled in the harvester head, topped off the hydraulic oil. It was a little low since it had been worked on and never topped up. And when it was leaning over, it was starting beeping and complaining about low oil level. And I think it's actually quite dry now. Been doing a little bit of a test using it, and we're working on preparing a new section where it will be a base road through an area that had seen little traffic. I do run into issues, especially on the birch. It struggles to feed them through the harvester head, but they are also crooked and ugly and not very easy trees to work with at all. But sometimes it's actually get them through. Other times there is some little bend where it jams a knife like into it, and if it's the bend is on the bottom, you could usually open the delimbing knives and kind of feed it through. But some of the small stuff I just given up on getting through there and discarded. This is maybe 2 weeks old. I'm not really sure, time flies right now, but the winter started kind of well, got a little below freezing, a tiny bit of snow, everything looked good, but yeah, here it's another birch I'm having issues with. But opening the delimbing knives and giving it a test, sometimes it kind of wanders over the bend and can feed it through. That all changed a little while back because we got really warm weather, and everything in the forest and around the house turned into mud. Really slippery mud that we usually only see in the spring, so it was like impossible to get anything out of the forest. Did use the forwarder to try and kind of build piles so they don't get lost in the snow, but it's double work and no extra pay for it. So, but some progress is being made at least. I have some happy news also, but that will be in a later video. But the machines are, I would say, running great. Well, the harvester is actually running really great. Apart from that electrical issue, I will cover that in a future video, just getting new regulators on the generators. I do test measure every now and then. I have these plastic pipes that I have a known size on and can do a test, and it's maybe shows a millimeter off on the diameter, but it's close enough that I will not change anything. I also step out and measure especially the length more often than the machine calls for, just to feel confident about it, and the length has been really accurate lately, so it does tend to drift off and be a little, especially on the bigger trees, the same as last winter. I might try to increase the pressure on the delimbing knife, but right now it's not a lot of volume going out, so, and a lot of them are rotten at the bottom. Sometimes removing a little bit, it can find fresh wood. An entrepreneur would probably just have quickly made a 3-meter pulp section from the bottom of all the trees. Sure, then you get paid for what I discard, but it's also left in the forest, and you get a better price for the first log. To access this place, we need to get off the road, so I had to put a pipe here to be able to not damage things, and this will be a permanent installation for the future. So If it's just a temporary crossing, they usually put some pulpwood or some scrap wood down there to just drive over. In the beginning here it was possible to get a couple of loads out. We were hoping it was gonna freeze up better and become, because this clay-like material, when wet, if it freezes it can harden to the point of feeling like concrete, but we didn't get the cold weather we were hoping for. Well, I don't want it to be really cold, but at least below freezing all around the clock. And I have a few issues since installing the new pump. The crane is a little bit jerky on some movements that I didn't notice before. I've gotten some suggestions to check some currents in the computer and so on. It will probably be a separate video on that, because I have fiddled around with it a little, but can't get it as smooth as I felt it was before pump. Now I haven't really used it a whole lot. My dad used it most of last winter, but we'll see. And I'm going quite slow because I haven't operated this a whole lot. I feel like I'm faster with the harvester than this one, but some more hours and I think I will pick up a little bit speed, especially if I can get the crane to operate smoothly through the entire range. And you can kind of hear it a little. I feel like it is giving a too harsh order to charge the pump to get it going, but exactly how everything works I don't know. We were gonna need more pipes to cross a few sections of kind of running water getting in here. We had some old, this is actually a big pipeline for water, but it was two stupidly short pieces, like 4 meters each. But what we were going to get across was a little bit we have to cross it at an angle, so we needed something a little bit extra long, and we looked around for some scrap metal and decided to bolt these two together. I could purchase them for a very low price. They had bought them to make a raft out of, seal the ends and make a raft. I used them for flotation, and I'm sure that would have worked, but they were stupidly heavy for that. Diesel heater on the excavator refused to work. We thought it was something electrical, but turned out my dad had not had the fuel valve, fuel petcock in the correct order. We have a separate fuel tank for that, because we have had issues with the pumps not being able to draw fuel up from the fuel tank, so it was easier to install a fuel tank above to help gravity feed it. Going a little slowly here. It was recently started, I think. Well, I'm slow all the time. And I kind of sit sideways a lot of times when I operate it on that side where it's possible. I've discussed it with my dad, and if I would operate this machine more, I would have looked at being able to shift the seat even so I could look out sideways to the other side also. At least a couple of degrees more than what, because now you can just go from straight ahead to straight back. Prep the pipe and the new improved log structure with garage function now. I really like it, the outcome. Plenty of room for firewood and the car, firewood on both sides of the car, and the lights. It made it really an upgrade. Back the tractor up to hook up the pipe to be able to pull that closer to where it's will stay, and the pull bar was spent, but we had calculated on that being scrap after this. We didn't dare to lift it just on in the middle because we weren't too secure about our joint there, so we lifted it carefully and put some strap under it. Folded out the load flex on one side and then hooked up some chain and slowly lifted it up into place. And with the load flex out, we could stick it out and kind of support it better over the joint. We did add a luggage strap, a ratchet strap to secure it, and close enough the excavator could lift it into place. It's hard to tell, but on the other side here it's actually a very steep hill to get up, and we will take the edge of that hill and move some material over the pipe and make it a nice passing. There are dreams of being able to get trucks in here, at least during the winter, but we will see. It seems hard to find material. There's some places they do want fuel, and filled up the grease for the central lubing. Diesel heater on the harvester refused to work also one day, and tried removing the pipe and starting it, and no fuel came out, so it's no wonder why it didn't want to work. I missed a little video here. We pulled out the pipe that goes down into the fuel tank and kind of blew through that, and maybe some little piece of dirt had gotten jammed in there, clogging it. I'm not exactly sure, but it worked after that, but I will have to keep track of it. And here you can see that we're starting to lose the snow, and the temperature is a little bit too warm. And the ground that has been disturbed when removing tree stumps and making this nice base road through here is not suitable to haul out anything, so I've had to do the piles, and annoying, and there are a few dead ones around here also, so but they are just discarded and left, so more will come. I have plenty more video, but I need to find time for it.